to finish, I've got three very short poems, and they're all about fruit. This first one is called Beards and Bananas. It's quite rude, but in a fun mood. A source of frustration was my high school sex education. My elderly teacher, although she was terribly kind, was not well prepared for a teenager's mind. After several dates by a packet of mates, machines in most gents, 3 for 99 pence. Andrew, this condom, roll it down this banana. I can hear giggles from someone. Is that you, Pollyanna? Andrew struggled at first to get the sheath on. Miss, Jason shouted, Andrew's banana is 2 inches long. Well, it's the angle of the dangle, Miss quickly replied, whilst pointing to an OHP of where to stick it inside. The default is hetero, but what about gay? I had a burning question for Miss, but I never dare say. Miss, said Paul, I went in the gent, but I lack confidence. I get wobbly knees in case someone sees. Well, said Miss, if other eyes popping or nerve you are lacking when you do your weekly shopping, put a packet in your packing. Yes, buying a pack of Durex, it could be awkward in front of your ex. But if you really want to mask it, don't just put it in your basket, put it in your trolley with your carrots, peas and collie. It was quite unexpected, but for me not so weird, when Miss in her 60s said, oh, I like men with a beard. I wish I could go back now and tell Miss so do I, because there ain't nothing quite as sexy as a beard on a guy. Thank you. All the different drawings that I'm showing tonight, I've got, I create poetry books or poetry zines, and I've got 2 over there, so please come and take one if you'd like to see the drawings of the poems, and they're free. Changing the mood somewhat to something slightly a little bit more serious, but nevertheless playful. This is a poem, if I can find it. Yeah, this poem is called Apple of My Eye. Do you remember when we were both young boys, James? Us running through apple tree orchards where we both lived in Kent, tasting the apples made cider in the town pub. Do you remember that hot summer night when your friend fell over us as we sat on that sofa? His body spread over our laps, my hands threw themselves up in the air, that momentary jolt, then both pairs landed on his then 20-something body. It felt as soft as any fruit. Do you remember telling me that it was just the cider talking? But for me, it was more than that. It was an awakening. I don't need cider when I have you in my sights. You became the apple of my eye. My affection for you grew over the next decade as we carried on the legacy of both our family trees and the generations before us. Remember my grandmother speaking affectionately of picking apples by the crate as a child, endless summers spent hop and apple picking. Don't wait to get older to live out your dreams, she said, as she looked over my shoulder at me drawing what was in front of me and what I saw in my head. Stand tall and strong, even when the apple orchard sours. Do you remember that day when you told me you were moving away to marry your childhood sweetheart? For me, it was more than that. An ending marks a beginning. The end of any hope that you would return my gaze, but the beginning of my new queer life as I caught the next fast train to London. Thank you. And the final poem, it's a really short one, this. It's very fruity, and it's called Plums. I walked in the kitchen, and there was my mum, sat at the table with a truckload of plum. Whilst destoning the fruit to make into a pud, she wrote this short verse, which I thought was quite good. See, Mum likes to write like she's somebody else. Seems the voice of her poem was that of myself. And so she wrote, my mum's been busy cutting up plums. Her son, her chum, thinks they all look like bums. Now she's glum as she's getting numb thumbs. A few hours later, she had no reason to grumble. Those numb thumbs had made way for the perfect crumble. Whilst the crumble was tasty, the plums that I like are the plums on this guy as he got off his bike. And on the subject of fruit, I admired his peach, lucky lifeguard attendant, watching fruit on the beach. I know what you're thinking, took the words out my gob. Yes, the beach guard defines what I call a plum job. Sat high at my lookout, how happy I'd be, looking through my binoculars and not at the sea. Thank you.